Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I would say, let's have some fun today. So, we are in the middle of the season, I would say, and because of that I really want to do a little recap of all the palettes I tried so far this year in 2023. So really excited about that, and I was really surprised how many palettes I actually bought. I didn't realize, and it's so funny. I didn't intend it that the number will be that nice and accurate, but I actually bought me so far 20 new palettes. I don't wanna rank them or something like that. I will just hold them up randomly, tell you about my feelings, and yeah, chat a little bit about those palettes with you together. So if it sounds good and interesting to you, stay tuned and let's get started. So the first one is my LH Cosmetics Shimmer Saga palette right here that I have. This one, guys, is really pretty. Is the first ever LH Cosmetics palette I bought for myself. I was eyeing her for a long time, and then she finally came out with a palette that was calling my name so much. I don't even kidding, guys. You know, I love shimmers. I would lie if I say to you that the things that are most attracting for me in a palette aren't shimmers, because they are. The shimmers are always the thing that are screaming the most to me to make the decision whether or not to buy a palette in the most cases. So yeah. It's an all shimmer palette. I learned to love those small shimmer palettes really for the sake of using them as a companion palette to shimmer and glimmer my looks up even a little bit more if I want to. I will swatch some of them to you. They're so beautiful. They're really shiny, wet looking, beautiful shimmers. I think the variety, even though there are just 4 of them, are really stunning and beautiful. You have really beautiful different shimmers to choose from, and I love them so much, guys. They're so amazing and so beautiful looking. So I still can recommend this palette, and I'm so happy that I have this one in my collection for sure. I think it's a beautiful, stunning little mini shimmer palette right here, and if you are eyeing this till this day, I really can recommend this one. It's so beautiful, stunning, and I every time loved my looks with this one. I used it on its own. I used it as a companion palette with other palettes, and my looks always turned out stunning. So really can recommend this one, and I'm happy that I have it in my collection. The next one is a more recent palette I bought for myself, and a recent video also that I uploaded on my channel, and it's the Pat McGrath Sublime #1 Mothership palette. It's stunning, guys. I really love it. Of course, the things that dragged me the most in were her special formulation down here. Wanted this palette for such a long time, and also thank you so much for the nice comments on that particular video, for the really good response and everything like that. I was so happy to read them all, and it's making me every time so happy and so humbled when you guys are so nice to me. And yeah, this palette is really nice. I had my fun with it, will continue to have my fun with it. Here are the 4 special shades that everyone is eyeing, I think, when it comes down to Pat McGrath, and I'm no exception. Really love them. I think I made a wise choice with this palette. Really happy that I have it as well in my collection. The shade that I also really love is this one right here, this really taupey violet gray-like shade. I think this is beautiful as well. So the whole palette is really stunning. We'll get more use out of it for sure. But I think the time when I will get really the most use out of it will be around winter and fall time. I have to feel it. Right now I use it as well. Really want to use the blue next time all over my lid and call it a day. I think this would also be a stunning look, so really want to try that as well. Maybe to combine it a little bit with the gold, because I think blue and gold are pairing so nicely together. Yeah. Overall, this palette is so beautiful, so stunning, so seamless looking, and so sophisticated at the same time. I can't say any negative about it. Happy that I have it in my collection as well, and I think it's a beautiful palette. Okay, let's come now to Dior, and I have 2 quins from Dior. The first one is the red tartan that I bought for myself. It was on a whim, to be honest, that I bought this one. It was on sale, so I thought, why not? Let's try another velvet palette from Dior. I have now 2 palettes from the Velvet collection. I have this one and my most favorite one, I have to say, the Blue Velvet palette. Really love that one so much. But this one is really beautiful as well. I have to be honest, I didn't use it that much, because I think the colors right now are reminding me a little bit more of the fall time. So I think this palette will get the most use in the fall time out of me, and I'm so excited to play with this one around fall a little bit more and to combine it with my shimmers that I have, with my smaller shimmer palettes. I think it will be a really beautiful and nice combo, but so far I'm not mad that I have it. It's not my favorite one, I would lie to you, because, you know, in the end, when it comes down to it, I'm a shimmer girl, but I really love this palette anyways. I think it's beautiful, but it's not my favorite quint that I have from Dior so far. Like I said, also not mad that I have it for sure. So, one that I really love on the other hand, the other one I also like. Don't get me wrong, but this one I love because those are my colors. When it comes down to it, I love to wear blue eyeshadows. And the other one that I bought this year for myself, as well from Dior, a quint, is the Denim palette. Wanted this one for such a long time. Really, I'm not kidding, guys. So long. And then I heard that they wanted to change their formulation again. I don't know why. What is wrong with Dior? Sorry, but this formulation of those quints are so stunning, I don't see the need to change anything. So when I hear that, it can be that they are great and beautiful, the new formulation. I won't deny that, because I haven't tried them. It all can be, but I really wanted this one, especially in the old new formulation, if you know what I mean. So I grabbed it before it was gone for good or for bad, whatever it is, I don't know, but I'm happy that I have this formulation in my collection, the new old formulation, and it's beautiful, guys. So stunning, so seamless looking, so nice on the eyes, and even though it's a blue palette, guys, it's so sophisticated looking. I always feel so beautiful with Dior quints, and even though it's a blue palette, it's no exception. I feel so beautiful and pretty and sophisticated with this one, and I'm really happy that I decided to buy this one for myself. I'm so glad that I have it in my collection. Okay, the next one is a palette that it was the palette that I bought when all the beautiful Lunar New Year palettes came out with the beautiful red packaging, and I was so amazed by all of them, and I really wanted to dabble my toes a little bit into Lunar New Year palettes. So I decided to buy me the MAC Year of Glam palette right here. This beautiful stunning 8-pan palette right here. I think it's really nice. I gave it a nice positive review and I didn't change my mind. That's not the case. I think, to be honest, I'm not really maybe a MAC customer when it comes to their eyeshadows. Look, it's really stunning. It's a nice, solid, metallic formulation, but I have to say I've been craving a little bit more oomph out of them, if you know what I mean. So it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite formulations of all time, and it will never be, I have the feeling. I like my MAC X Lisa palette, but if it wouldn't be Lisa, maybe I wouldn't have this anymore, to be honest, because it's also not my favorite shimmer formulation, but it's a little bit more than this one. It's giving me a little bit more at least, and I like it 10 times more than this one, if I have to compare those two. Yeah, like I said, I'm not mad, and I can see that people are really liking this one that aren't a fan of those really high shine metallics or those really glittery type of shades, that want a solid, nice formulation for the everyday. I can see that those people really love this kind of palette right here. But in my case, I really never think of this palette when I want to do an eye look. Never ever. And maybe I will get rid of this one soon and call it a day. Maybe I will give this one to my sister or something like that, because I don't know, I don't feel this palette anymore. Like I said, I think it's a nice solid palette, but it's not the palette for me, I have the feeling. So maybe this won't be that long anymore in my collection. We shall see, but I have a feeling that I will declutter this one soon. So yeah, I think, don't get me wrong, like I said, nice palette, but maybe not the palette for me. But on the other hand, a palette that's really for me, it's also a Lunar New Year palette, and it's a Lunar New Year palette in that sense that it has the red packaging, but it's an old palette that just have red packaging on, you know, and it's from Pat McGrath Labs, and it's the Venus in Fleurs Luxe Quad Voyeuristic Vixen palette right here. This palette, guys, is so stunning. I wanted this one for such a long time, and at that time in the normal packaging this palette was sold out, and then she re-released it in this red Lunar New Year packaging, and I jumped on it because I really wanted this one. This brown shade right here is so stunning and beautiful. I really love it. It's a perfect teddy bear like brown for me. I really love, of course, this stunning, amazing shifty shade. I hope you can see it, guys. It's so beautiful, it's so reflective, and oh, I'm really amazed by this one, as well as this one. I think this is also a beautiful, stunning shade for the everyday, just all over the lid. Call it a day and you have a look. Also this white I really appreciate right here for my inner corner, I have to say. I think it's a beautiful, nice white. Also just to put it all over your lid, maybe put a little bit glitter over it, and it will look really ethereal and nice. Maybe I will do that the next time. I think this was a great idea right now, when I can say so myself. Yeah, really love this palette. Also really happy that I have it. Don't regret it a little bit. So happy I have it in my collection. Beautiful and stunning. The shimmers in here, the metallics in here. For just being a 4-pan palette, a quad, top notch, guys, top notch. I'm really happy that I have it. The next one that it's also in a red packaging, but it's not a Lunar New Year themed palette, but it's from Tom Ford, and it's my Electric Cherry palette that I bought also not that long ago. I love reds, guys. This is a solid formulation. This is his wet and dry formulation. Means you can use it dry, or you can use it with a little bit of water or fixing spray or something like that and make it shine even more. So yeah, really love it. This is more of an metallic slash satin kind of formulation, but it's really beautiful anyways. I think it's a nice and solid formulation for red tones, and it's so easy to work with, so nice to work with. And for being a red eyeshadow quad, I think because there aren't that shimmery in your face, they are looking really solid and beautiful on the lid. So really love it, and it ignited my love again with red tones. I love red tones. They are also a favorite color of mine. I'm really happy that I bought it for myself, and I'm not mad about it. Want to use it a little bit more often, but I think overall this is a nice quad. Don't know if I would necessarily spend $80 or something on it. I bought it on a sale, and I think with Tom Ford quads I will always buy them on a sale. Never say never, maybe one day I will buy it full price, but as of right now, I think I really like Tom Ford, but I don't like it enough to spend full price on it, if I can say so. But on the other hand, guys, I really love it. If you want this, if you love red tones like me, I can really recommend this one. I think it's a beautiful palette. I loved my eye look. I also used it not that long ago again, loved my eye look again. So you don't get that much variety with this one. Of course, it's a red palette, a 4-pan palette. Yeah, all in all, I'm not mad that I have it, and I like it so far. So I will continue using this one for sure. Next one is a palette I want to use a little bit more often because it's so stunning and beautiful, and I'm so happy that I have it. And it's the Pat McGrath Labs Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow palette in Bronze Bliss. This beauty right here that she brought out, I think it was also around Christmas time, but I bought it this year. because this year it was also brought out in Germany, so I could get my hands a little bit easier on it, you know, so, and get it also a little bit faster than, let's say, buying it from the Pat McGrath website. Yeah, I really love it. They're so metallic, guys, so metallic, so wet looking. It's not a special formulation, but it feels like a special formulation from her, not the special formulation, but a newer special formulation, if you know what I mean. Even touching them now, they're feeling so creamy, so wet, and so beautiful, guys. I think this is a stunning formulation. Oh, so beautiful. Didn't intended to swatch all of the shades from each palette that I'm showing you, but here we are. I can't get over how beautiful this palette is, and I really wanna use it a little bit more often. Really need to do that. I think it's beautiful. I also think you can do it as an everyday palette when you go really lightly in there. The good thing about this really gray blackenish shade right here is that it's looking a little bit intimidating, but it's not. You really can build it up. You can really make it a little bit lighter on the eyes. So I think this is a really nice, versatile and good chosen shade from Pat McGrath to put in this palette right here, and I really enjoy my time with it, and I will continue to enjoy my time with it for sure. The next one that I didn't showcase until today because it's a little bit older and I don't know if it's available anymore. I wanted to try Chantecaille for a long time, so I bought me the Black Jaguar Eye Quad palette in Noir. It's really cute packaging. I think the Jaguar is looking stunning and sultry. Really love it. I have to say the palette is a little bit lighter than I thought it would be. It's not feeling that luxe to me, which is a little bit sad considered that the palette is a really high price tag palette. So yeah, of course I bought it on a sale, so not full price, but it's pricey anyways. This is just a quad with a little pans in it. So yeah, but aside that, I think it's a solid, nice formulation. It's not to write home about, I have to say, but it's really beautiful. I loved my eye look that I did with this one. I thought it was so sultry, nice, sophisticated and stunning looking. So I have a good time with this palette, don't get me wrong, but for $80 I don't know if it's worth the big price tag. But I like that on the other hand you are participating in helping the animals a little bit with your purchase of a palette, so, or a product from Chantecaille, you know. This is a plus, but all in all I think the quality is really nice, don't get me wrong. I really like it. I will use it for sure. It won't disappear from my collection, not in the long run at least. So I'm pleased with this palette. I really like the colors in here, especially, you know, this midnight blue. So stunning and beautiful. But yeah, like I said, wouldn't necessarily pay full price for this. But all in all, I'm not mad that I have it on the other hand. Okay guys, we are going strong. So many palettes. I'm sweating right now. Next one. The next one I bought for myself this year and I really like it. It's the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I think it's a beautiful, stunning, romantic-like palette. But I have to be honest, I didn't use it that often. Because I think, not because I don't like this palette, I really like it. I think it's amazing. It's a solid, beautiful, grunged up almost palette. But it's more like a romantic fall, winter type of palette for me. And I have the feeling I will dabble my toes a little bit more into this one as soon as those seasons will arrive. I will use this one definitely more. I really like the Natasha Denona formula. I think it's a nice, beautiful formulation. I'm also getting really along with her cream to powder formulation. So all in all, I think this palette is beautiful and stunning. I loved my looks that I created with you together as well on camera. So all in all, it's a beautiful, stunning palette. I think my favorite shades in here, of course, are Glit, Psychedelic as well, and I also really love the Jute shade. Look how stunning they are, guys. They are really beautiful, metallic, reddish kind of shade. So I'm happy that I have it and I will really get so much more use out of it as soon as the more colder seasons are arriving, you know, for sure. And I really, really love this one. Okay, next one, I will cheat a little bit because I will show you two palettes. Because those are the two palettes I used today for my look, and I will showcase the look a little bit better to you in a sec. So yeah, the two palettes I'm talking about is the Tiny Marvels palette from Mel Thompson and Sydney Grace. And the other palette is the Isamaya Industrial 2.0 palette. But let's start first with the Tiny Marvels palette. This is the inside. I wanted this palette for such a long time. If you don't know, but I think you all know Mel Thompson, she passed away sadly, and I really, really liked her content. I really loved her as a creator. As a human, I thought she was really real in front of the camera, and I really loved her energy as well. When she talked about makeup, you really felt how much she loved makeup, and you know, and loved to create looks and everything like that. So she was one of those creators that really inspired me to start with my channel in the first place. So this is because I really wanted this one for such a long time, and as long as a demand is there, Sydney Grace will always bring this palette back. And she will bring it back, I think, soon again, because on her website you can see that there is standing a pre-order link for this palette again. And I'm so happy about it. I really love this palette. I'm so happy that I have it. I think this will be the year for me to play a little bit more around with indie brands, guys, because I'm really amazed by their shadows. This is a really, really solid palette, a really beautiful palette. I love the mattes. The metallics in here are so beautiful, nice and shiny, and yeah, I think they're really solid and good looking. So they are not that sparkly, but they are really wet and shiny looking, if you know what I mean. And this is, like I said, the palette that I also have on my eyes today. And I will insert a little clip of me putting on those shades. I will tell you during the clip what I did with my eyes. So first I took the shade Spider, this really beautiful brownish shade, and I put it at the outer portion of my lid area and really tried to blend it beautifully in to make a little bit of a darker shadow out there, and yeah, start the look with this one. And after that I decided to go into the shade Love Bug. And with this one, I really did go into my crease area on my lid and really try to buff the Spider shade a little bit more out with it and to give it a little bit more of an brighter effect almost with this shade as well. After that, I did go in with the shade Web with this really beautiful whitish shade. I love when palettes have a really, really light shade in there, so I think light shades make palettes really versatile. Let's say if there are really many dark shades in the palette, you really can count on the really light shade to blend everything out a little bit nicer and yeah, to give it a little bit more of an friendlier feeling almost. And after I did go in with my first shimmery shade, and the shade I really, really wanted to use is the shade Marvel, because I didn't use it that often. I really played so much more with the other shades in this palette, and I really wanted to try out Marvel as well. And this one is a beautiful copper, but a little bit more on the cooler copper side, I would say. And I think it's stunning, stunning. And I put this one in the middle portion of my lid area and really tried to do almost something like a bridge for the next shade I'm using. And the next shade is probably one of my favorite shades in here, and it's called Fire Buds. This shade, guys, I really, really love this shade. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful, stunning greenish, I can't even describe it. It's a green, but also a little bit on the dirty bronzy side. It's so beautiful and stunning. Also it's reflecting a little bit of gold in there, I have the feeling. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful shade, and it's also a really unique shade in my collection. I don't have the feeling that I have a shade like this. And this one I really placed in the front portion of my lid area and tried to combine this one a little bit more with the Marvel shade. And with my finger I really did go in and also drag the shade a little bit more out to my brow bone area. And after that I wanted to move on with my inner corners, and for my inner corners I did go again into the shade Fire Buds with an inner corner brush and put it right in there. And I thought this shade tide it to look really beautiful together. Like I said, it's my favorite, absolute favorite shade in this palette. I think it's stunning and beautiful, and I really love this shade. And after that I moved on to my lower lash line, and I wanted to do something a little bit more summery, a little bit more friendly, to tie everything a little bit more together. And I decided to go into the shade Mantis and really just place it with a nice fluffy, more dense blending brush. And also it was a little bit smaller for that area, so that I can be a little bit more precise. And I just smudged it all over my lower lash line because I think this is a beautiful and stunning green shade, and I really love it. It's really summer spring-like, and I thought it will give my look a little bit more of that back, of the summer feel, you know, and just put it therefore all over my lower lash line and called it a day. So this is all of the palette that I used, and I hope I didn't forget something, but I think this is everything I did with my eye look. So really loved how it came out. I totally could have leave it like that. Totally could just put on a little bit of mascara and call it a day. But I also wanted to pull another palette in because I have so many beautiful new palettes and I wanted to use as many as I can, and I decided to play today with 2 palettes. What can I say? But all in all, guys, I really love this palette. I think this is a beautiful and stunning palette, and I'm more than happy that I have it in my collection. And maybe I will dabble my toes a little bit more again into Sydney Grace, but it's really pricey as well for me, guys. For me, everything is not cheap with indie brands. The shipping here, the costs, the extra taxes that I have to pay, it's a lot, I won't lie, but for this palette it was really worth it for me. And like I said, the look is not done yet. I used also my new Isamaya Industrial 2.0 palette for it. And to amp the look even more up, to make it a little bit more shimmery, a little bit more me, you know. And I used this really beautiful, shimmery, shifty green to rosy shade down here because I thought it will pair really nice with the look. And I decided to put this one over the Marvel shade and really amp it up with it. And I thought the 2 shades paired really nice together. And for my lower lash line I decided to go into this really beautiful, more satin kind of green shade, and I basically put it as well all over the lower lash line to amp the green, the Mantis shade from the Tiny Marvels palette, even more up, and to make it a little bit more shiny down there and give it a little bit more of shebang, if you know what I mean. And I really liked the outcome. Wanted to leave it like that, but then the green to rosy shade really looked at me, and I looked back and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to use you as well. So I took a little bit of this shade as well on a brush and just put it at the front portion of my lower lash line, just to tie the look really nicely together. And I think it was a really good decision of mine, because then I had this beautiful light shifty green to red rosy shade down there, and it tied the look even more together with my lid area, you know. So really loved that. Yeah, and then I put on, like always, mascara, did my lips. I really loved the outcome. I thought it was so beautiful and nice looking, and I'm so happy overall with the look. I think it's so summer appropriated, and I really love how fun and sparkly and just glimmery it's looking, you know. So really happy with that. And about this palette, guys, what can I say? This palette is stunning. Like I said, didn't change my mind. I think it was worth it for me, at least, to spend that much money on it. It's a really big price tag, but I'm happy that I have it, and I think it was a nice decision, and I used it so much and I will continue to use it so much, so I will get my money worth out of this one, definitely. Oh gosh, we are going strong, guys. So many palettes, but not that much are left. I think we make progress here, we make progress. The next one was a really nice surprise for me, I have to say. And it was also a winter palette, I think. around Christmas time as well it came out, but I bought it this year, and it is the Bobbi Brown Luxe Eyeshadow Quad. I don't know the real name. I think this is everything. I think it's called like that. I hope I'm not wrong. But it's the quad right here, you know, that came out last winter, and I think it's beautiful, guys. This shine is unreal. I have to show it to you. And as well, this more satiny kind of shade down here called Metal Rose. It's beautiful. I use it so often as a companion palette to amp my looks so much more up with this one. Guys, this is a beautiful, stunning palette. Look at this Pat McGrath shine level. I'm not kidding. It's a beautiful palette, and I'm so happy that I picked it up. The shimmers in here are unreal, guys, unreal. I'm so happy I have it in my collection. I'm so sad that it's not a palette that it's there forever. Because why? This is beautiful. I don't understand. But all I can say about this is just stunning, and I'm so happy that I have it. Okay, next one. It was a palette that I never anticipated to buy for myself, but I did because it was on sale and I really love the brand, and I thought, why not? Let's try it before it's gone. I thought it's a win-win situation, at least in my case. And it's the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. It's this bigger type of palette right here. And what can I say? This is the perfect palette for summertime. I think it's beautiful. I'm not mad that I have it. It's a solid formulation. The shimmers are a little bit stiffer, but I really like it. Oh, and this shade, by the way, this shade down here, this really beautiful summer type of orangey gold shade. It's my favorite one in this palette, but look at this, guys. It's really beautiful. You can't deny that. And I'm really happy that I decided to get this one for myself, because it's a solid, beautiful... This yellow right here, guys, it's so pigmented. I think the whole palette is just a palette you really can count on. Look at this beauty. I will swatch it. I will swatch it for you, because I think there are so many Natasha Denona lovers out there. So let's swatch it for you. My favorite shade, by the way. Look how stunning this is. It's a really beautiful palette, guys. It's really beautiful. It's a solid palette you really can count on, and I really need to use it more often. I'm so amazed by it. The shades as well, they are holding on the lid like glue. I didn't get creasing with it, and I was on a really sweaty concert on that day with this palette on my eyelids. So I sweat so much on that day. And my eyes were so beautifully in the end and didn't experience creasing with this one. So I'm happy that I have it, I guess. And I will continue to use it. And I think this color story as well is so beautiful and summery. So really need to pull it out more for sure. Okay, guys, the next three palettes are from Melt Cosmetics. So let's start with the Blueprint palette. I really like this palette. I had this palette in my top 10 palettes for the summertime, and this is really a beautiful, in my opinion, a beautiful summer-like palette with those beautiful blue shades, those really bronzy type of shades, and the formulation is a really solid metallic formulation that I really appreciate. I think it's beautiful. I don't like to go really in there with my fingers when it comes to melt shades, because I have the feeling they aren't intended to be used with the finger that much, but I really like this palette, guys. Need to use it a little bit more often. I got so many new palettes in my collection that they are going a little bit under sometimes, to be honest, but with my melt series that I'm filming right now, I really have the opportunity to go in all of my palettes again, and I'm so happy about that. This one also will be in there, of course, and I filmed with it, and I think it's a beautiful palette. Just need to use it a little bit more for sure, because all in all, I really like this palette, I have to say. It's a solid palette. I can't say any negative about it. It's a good melt formulation. Never had a problem personally with melt, so I'm happy that I have it in my collection. I think I became step by step and really slowly a melt collector, and now I have really many palettes, and boy, I tell you, I have many palettes. I didn't realize until I did my melt series and I started to film it. Really, just then I realized how many palettes I have. But I'm happy I have them all. I really, really love them. The second palette that I bought from Melt this year is the 420 palette. I bought everything on the time where they had the big sale, and I'm so happy I have it now. I wanted this one for such a long time. Also filmed with it, and I really loved the look that came out with this palette right here, I have to say, guys. So really excited to showcase the look to you when the time is right. And yeah, I really love it. The only thing I have to say, I'm a little bit let down by this shatter shade right here, the only metallic shade in here. I think this is not the best gold shade that you can get, but it's okay. It's not the shade that it's my favorite from Melt of all time, I have to be honest, but it's okay. But I think in this palette overall, it's not about the metallic shade anyways, it's more about those beautiful grungy fall type of shades, and I really love it for that. But I have to say, I wish the metallic in here would be a little bit more impactful, and you can see I have the feeling I already will get hard pan with this one. Yeah, this is not my favorite one, but all in all, I really love the shades in here, except for this one shade. And the last palette I already filmed a video with and already loaded it up. But it's the Muerte palette, guys. I finally got my hands on it and I'm so happy. Look at this artwork. Look at this beautiful and stunning artwork right here. And more important, look at this beautiful inside. And also, those metallics, unlike the metallic from the 420 palette, are stunning. I love those metallics. They're a little bit more grittier from the touch. They are a little bit more hard, if you know what I mean. They are not that soft feeling, but they are so beautiful. Look at this. This midnight blue right here, oof, all over the lid. Stunning. I have to say the light blues in here, there are for sure staining your eyelids, so be aware of that. But for me it's worth it because they're so beautiful and nice, and I also love the reds. They're so vibrant, and I again love that the white is here. I think this white shade is making the palette so versatile, and I love that it's in here. So I think it's a beautiful rounded up palette. I love the color story, and I'm so excited to continue to use this one. So let's come to the last three palettes, and the palette I will show you now is a really big one, and it's the Morphe X Pony Constellation Sky palette right here. I think this is really the biggest palette that I have in my whole collection. I'm not really the type of person that loves such big palettes, and I have to say I can feel it now more than ever because I like big palettes, don't get me wrong, but this amount is a little bit too much for me. This is the amount that it's over the type of big palettes that I like in the end, I think. But overall, I'm not a big Morphe fan, I have to say. This is the only Morphe palette I have in my whole collection, and I really, to be honest, bought it because of Pony. I really like her content. I really love her Korean beauty type of styles, the looks that she's doing. I really love this Korean makeup style really much, and yeah, I really bought it just because of her. I have to say I really like this shade right here called, it's just Inner. It's called Inner, but I really like it because it's a perfect beautiful blush on me. I really love this color right here so much. And I also have to say I really like this face shade right here to use as a bronzer. I think it's a nice bronzer for the face. But overall, I have to say, even though the color story is so beautiful and I really love it, it's nothing to rhyme home about. The only glittery metallic shade that's really stunning and it's saving the whole other metallics in here is the shade Breathe right here, guys. Look how shiny and beautiful it is for a Morphe palette. I really like this shade, but overall all the other shades aren't that amazing, if I have to be completely honest. But the looks that I created with this palette were so stunning, and I will continue for now to have this one in my collection, and I will try to incorporate it here and there to do some beautiful looks with it, because overall I think really Pony did a great job curating those shades. I really love her little drawings in the palette as well. And yeah, overall I like the palette, but it never will be my favorite one, just because of the size, because of the repetitive shades in here, and because the shimmers and the metallics aren't my favorites, if I have to be completely honest. But with that being said, I'm also not mad that I have it, because it's a tribute to Pony. It's a really nice palette from her. I can see her vision in this palette, and what's more important, I really can see Pony in this palette. It's so her, and I like this palette overall, and I will use it for sure, because like I said, the shade Breathe is amping everything up so nicely. So just for that shade, I think it's okay to have this palette in my collection, and I think it's nonetheless a beautiful palette. Guys, the last two palettes, it's really hot in here. All the lights that are shining on me right now, I'm sweating so much. So much. Maybe you can see it, I'm not sure, but I do. Trust me. And the last two palettes, I will show them both to you because they are from the same brand, and they are my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I bought me the Nouveau palette and the Rose Metals palette, and I love them both so much. I was so happy that I decided to buy them. I will show you first the Nouveau palette. Look how beautiful it is. It's so stunning. I wanted this one for such a long time. I really thought about it, then I decided not to get it. But after it went on sale, I thought, why not? Let's try it. And right after that, I also really needed the Rose Metals palette, because I was so amazed by this one. And I'm happy that I have it. I think this lilac-y shade is amping every look a little bit more up. It's making everything so much more fun, and also a little bit more spring, summer appropriated. So this is a plus as well. And yeah, it's a solid metallic formulation. I really love those metallics. I think they are beautiful, shiny, and wet looking as well on the eyes, but on the same time they are not too much. They are really nice for the everyday eye makeup wearer, if you know what I mean. That if you want those a little bit more fun, but on the same time not too much fun days with your eyes, you know, I think this palette is perfect. And on the other hand, I think this is the palette I like a little bit more than the Nouveau palette, if I have to be honest, is my Rose Metals palette. This palette is so beautiful and even more wet looking. I really love the shade Nova. I love the shade Rose Fire, and I also really love the shade Heavenly, guys. I think this is a beautiful glittery wettish looking shade. I think the palette is really stunning. I'm really happy that I decided to buy this one for myself and that I have it in my collection as well. I also really love the packaging. I think this packaging is looking so stunning. And yeah, what can I say more? I loved every look I did with this palette. The only thing is that I need to use it a little bit more for sure as well. So we'll do that. We'll try to remember to use this one because it's so beautiful. But with so many new palettes in my collection, you know, it's sometimes a little bit hard. But really love this one, and I think it's a stunning palette, and I'm really happy that I decided to try Anastasia Beverly Hills again. The only other palette I had from her is the Kali Bible palette right here. It's a really old palette and I used it so much. I hope you can see that. Really like this one, and it will also stay in my collection for a while because I'm obsessed with those grayish silvery shades and those shades down here. I really love them as well. And this is the only palette I really ever tried from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And after that she was a little bit out of my radar, and I also didn't get it along with her brand anymore. But when she released those palettes, I really thought that I want to try her again. So yeah, happy that I have them, and I will continue to use them both for sure. So guys, we are at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the recap of all of my palettes that I tried so far in 2023. I tell you guys, there will be so much more to come for sure. And I'm really curious how many palettes I will have at the end of the year. Maybe by then I will declutter some, you know. I don't like to keep palettes in my collection that I don't really like or that aren't speaking to my soul. So I really want to be real with myself and just keep palettes that are really speaking to my heart. So we will see how many palettes I will have at the end of the year, after I also maybe get rid of some of them during the year. But overall, I think my palette choices were really nice and I'm not mad about one of those palettes. Maybe a little bit the MAC palette, but this is another story. I never learn when it comes down to it. But all in all, I really liked my makeup and palette choices so far. So really excited what will come at the second half of the year. So we shall see. And if you liked this video as well, guys, I would be really happy if you consider to subscribe my channel if you haven't already. Also give me a thumbs up that I know that you like this kind of content, and click on the little bell to get notifications here and there when I'm posting something new. And with that being said, guys, I hope we will see each other in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, bye.